The film begins with Patricia waking up to a strange sound and sensing that someone is in the house. She grabs a gun and tells her husband, Truman, that there's a burglar downstairs. Truman takes the gun, and the two head down together, only to find that there's no intruder. The noise was actually caused by a girl who had fallen asleep in their home after the party the night before. Meanwhile, we see Alex getting ready for work. He appears anxious and rushed, as does his wife, Marina. In their hurry, they forget that it's their son Robbie's birthday. Their maid, Billy, reminds them, and they say they'll throw him a big party when they get home. But Billy feels sad that none of his family remembered his birthday, so she decides to make it special. She bakes him a birthday cake and gives him a gift, showing that she's the only one who truly cares about Robbie. Back to Truman, he surprises Patricia by buying her an expensive car. She's thrilled but asks where he got the money since their financial situation is not good, and their house is mortgaged due to heavy debts. She offers to get a job to help, but he refuses and tells her he's about to close an important deal with a major client. If he succeeds, he'll get a promotion. He also informs her that he's invited the businessman, Mason, over for dinner to try and win him over. Later, at work, Truman's assistant tells him a new employee named Alex has joined the company. She mentions that Alex is talented and might take the promotion Truman has been hoping for. That evening, Alex returns home, and Billy tells him that Robbie's school principal called to report that Robbie has been skipping school for the past 3 days and that his grades are poor. Alex calls his son and scolds him, warning that if he doesn't focus on school, he'll be punished and cut off financially. That night, Patricia prepares dinner, and Truman arrives with Mason. During dinner, Mason keeps giving Patricia strange, suggestive looks. When Truman leaves the room for a moment, Mason actually harasses her. Patricia immediately rebukes him and rushes to tell Truman. To her shock, Truman reacts calmly. Even worse, he asks her to go along with Mason and please him, saying that this big sacrifice will benefit them both if it leads to Mason signing the contract, even if Patricia is the price. Because she loves Truman, Patricia agrees to his request and allows Mason to get close to her and begin a relationship. Later, she breaks down crying but tries to convince herself she helped her husband and that her actions will improve their financial situation. She stays up all night, deep in thought. The next day, Truman arrives at work and is surprised to see his boss waiting for him. The boss informs him that Alex got the promotion instead, as he was the one who convinced Mason to sign the deal. Truman is furious, especially when he realizes Mason had deceived him and Patricia's sacrifice was for nothing. He gets into an argument with his boss, who ends up firing him. Truman returns home heartbroken but says nothing to Patricia. The next day, Patricia wakes up, and Truman tells her he's going to work. She reminds him it's a holiday, but he insists he must go. Once at his office, Truman commits suicide. News of his death reaches Patricia, and she collapses from the shock. The following day, Patricia goes to the company and meets with the manager. She asks about Truman's insurance policy, explaining that their house is mortgaged and she needs the money to pay off the debt. But the manager tells her that the insurance company won't pay anything because Truman died by suicide. Patricia is devastated. The manager asks her to collect Truman's personal belongings from his office. When she enters the office, she sees photos of Alex and his family and begins to feel they're the ones responsible for ruining her life. That's when she decides to take revenge on everyone who caused her husband's death. She begins searching Truman's belongings and manages to find Alex's address and all his family's information. Not only that, but she also gathers detailed information about Mason. She then goes to Mason's home. When he opens the door, he tells her he's missed her. Patricia pulls out a gun and shoots him, then quickly flees before anyone sees her, saying, "That's the first one taken care of." Next, she heads to Alex's house and watches it from a distance. She sees Robbie leaving for school and follows him to learn the school's location. She enters the school office, pretending she wants to enroll her daughter, distracts the secretary, and steals a stamped paper with the school's name. She uses the paper to create a fake expulsion notice for Robbie due to his low grades and sends it to Alex. When he reads it, he decides to hire a private tutor to help Robbie and calls Marina, asking her to convince their son. The next day, Patricia meets Marina and introduces herself as Amanda, claiming to be a teacher. Robbie is instantly attracted to her beauty and agrees to have her as his tutor. Patricia pretends that her house is under renovation and says she can't start until 2 weeks later. Marina objects, explaining that exams are near. Robbie suggests that she stay at their home, and they prepare the guest room for her. The following day, Patricia wears provocative clothing and waits for Robbie outside school. She appears to be trying to seduce him, and succeeds. But she doesn't stop there. She also tries to become close friends with Marina and notices that she takes some kind of sedatives. Patricia tricks her and secretly increases her dosage. At night, she realizes Robbie is watching her while she changes clothes, and understands that he's become obsessed with her. At that moment, Billy sees him and scolds him, warning that if she catches him spying on his teacher again, she'll tell his father. Patricia then decides to grow even closer to Robbie, taking advantage of his feelings. She enters his room and convinces him that she loves him. Being young and naive, he believes her and obeys her completely. The next day, Marina wakes up with a severe headache caused by the pills Patricia gave her. Shortly after, Alex arrives and asks what she drank the night before, because she behaved strangely at the party. Later, Patricia intentionally tries to get close to Alex in front of Robbie and Marina, hoping to spark conflict between them and Alex. In the evening, Billy comes to Patricia's room and installs a curtain for her window to provide more privacy. It seems Billy has started to notice Patricia's strange behavior and suspects she's trying to seduce Robbie. The next morning, Marina wakes up angry and starts yelling at Billy, accusing her of not doing her job properly. She orders her to change all the bed sheets, and Billy does as she's told. At that time, Patricia decides to get rid of Billy, thinking she might get in the way of her revenge. She hides in the basement, breaks the light and ties a thin rope across the staircase, so Billy would trip and fall. Indeed, Billy falls from the top of the stairs, hitting her head hard, which leads to her death. Patricia then fixes the light, removes the rope, and walks out as if nothing happened. Later, Robbie tells Patricia that he got a good grade in his math exam and that he will study the rest of his subjects for her. But she gets upset and tells him his French grade was still poor. He promises to study harder so he can travel abroad with her to complete his education. Shortly after, Marina starts looking for Billy everywhere. She is shocked when she finds her body in the basement. She breaks down and is consumed by guilt, refusing to talk to anyone, including her husband Alex. That evening, Alex is visibly stressed and upset. Patricia takes advantage of the situation and seduces him, leading him to cheat on Marina with her. Not only that, but she deliberately ensures that Robbie sees them, which causes him deep distress. Robbie then confronts his father angrily, telling him that he saw him cheating on his mother and that there's no need to pretend to be the perfect father. The next day, Patricia visits Marina and increases her medication dosage again. She pretends to care for her and insists on staying by her side until she gets better. Soon, Marina begins to completely lose focus. She asks Robbie why he didn't go to school, and he coldly tells her there's no point pretending to be a perfect mother. He accuses her of never caring about him and says Billy was the one who acted like his real mother. Marina is hurt by his words, and her condition worsens. Then, Patricia goes to Robbie and tells him that what happened between her and his father wasn't consensual, that Alex had threatened her, and that she was too weak and afraid to resist. She begs Robbie to stay by her side and protect her from his father and everyone else. She even confesses that she loves him, despite the age difference. Robbie, who is obsessed with her, tells her he loves her too and won't let anyone come near her. That evening, Patricia takes one of her earrings and brings it to Marina, telling her she found it in Alex's pocket while doing laundry and thought it belonged to her. But the moment Marina sees the earring, she becomes upset, as it doesn't belong to her. She starts suspecting Alex of cheating. When Alex comes home that night, Marina confronts him about the affair. He angrily tells her she's lost her mind due to the medications and is imagining things. He insists she needs to see a doctor before her condition gets worse. He takes her to the bathroom and pours water over her to snap her out of the sedative and alcohol-induced state. Robbie hears the commotion and thinks his father is hurting his mother, which deepens his hatred. The next day, Robbie goes to his father and threatens him. He says if Alex comes near Patricia again, he'll expose him and tell everyone he cheated on his mother. Alex is furious and hits Robbie during the argument. Patricia then goes to Marina and offers her a cup of tea, once again laced with sedatives. But due to the high dosage, Marina can't hold the cup, and it falls and breaks. She sees undissolved pills at the bottom and realizes Patricia has been drugging her all along. Though she doesn't understand why, she decides never to accept anything from Patricia again. Later, Patricia tells Robbie that she will complete her paperwork and come to live with him abroad. The next day, Robbie says goodbye before leaving, and Patricia pretends she's leaving too, now that her job as a teacher is over. At that moment, Alex sees her car and feels he has seen it before. Marina stays home alone. The phone rings, but there's no one on the other end. She then hears a strange noise downstairs. When she goes to check, no one is there. Terrified, she calls Alex, saying she's hearing noises and is sure there's a burglar. But in truth, these are tricks Patricia is using to scare Marina. Suddenly, the power goes out. Marina hears a noise and screams, accidentally hitting Alex, who has just arrived. She tells him there's a burglar in the basement who must have cut the power. Alex goes down but finds nothing. He fixes the circuit breaker and returns to Marina, telling her no one's there, and the blackout was due to a simple fault. But Marina doesn't believe him. She insists she heard noises and that the phone rang multiple times. When Alex checks the phone, he discovers it's not working. He gets angry and tells her everything she's experiencing is a result of her overuse of sedatives. They argue, and she insists she's not crazy. The next day, Alex goes to work looking exhausted. By chance, he sees a box of Truman's old belongings. Inside, he finds a photo of Patricia and realizes she is Truman's wife. He understands now that she came for revenge and believes everything Marina had told him. At the same time, Patricia kills Marina's pet birds. When Marina finds them, she's devastated and finally realizes she's not crazy. Someone really is messing with her life. Suddenly, Patricia enters the room and forces Marina to drink tea laced with a high dose of sedatives. When Marina refuses, Patricia starts hitting her and tells her that she and her husband ruined her life, and now it's time to pay. She keeps hitting Marina, then ties her hands and forces her to take the pills, telling her she will make it look like a suicide due to depression. Patricia then brings a knife and decides to cut Marina's wrists without waiting for the pills to take effect. Marina pleads for her life, offering all the money she wants. But Patricia says money won't bring her husband back. At that moment, Alex arrives, driving at full speed. He storms into the house and finds Marina tied up, with Patricia about to slit her wrist. He pushes Patricia hard, causing her to fall out of the window. Moments later, the police arrive and start searching for Patricia everywhere, but she vanishes without a trace. Days later, Marina recovers, and her relationship with Alex returns to normal. Robbie calls his mother to check on her. At that moment, we discover that Patricia is now living with Robbie, and not only that, she's planning to continue her revenge through him. If you enjoyed the film, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so you never miss an update.